What's up, everybody? We got Monday Night Football, Rams and Dolphins. I'm with my man JJ. As always, we're going to break the game down and then give you guys some analysis and a parlay at the end. Let's get into it. Welcome back in, everybody. JJ, how are we doing?
We were one catch away from hitting a parlay.
Bro,
But,
the reads, the entire, if anybody listened to the whole video instead of skipping to the end, the reads were spot on. We knew exactly who would struggle, but
it was an
one
unders
broken
day.
play cooked it all.
Yeah.
Horrible. But dub for my Lions. I can't complain too much. I did nuke the -3.5 on Bet Openly, but I as long as my Lions are winning, I really don't care. Let's get into today, though. We got the Rams and the Dolphins, and we got one big injury news to keep up with is Tyreek Hill. Apparently, he's having a wrist issue, and some of the talk has been that it's been there all season and it's just flaring up now. Personally, I don't think he's going to sit. I think it's going to be something that he plays through and then addresses with surgery at the end of the season. However, I'm not the doctor treating him, so don't take my word as gospel. Knowing that, though, JJ, how are you kind of looking at this Miami offense against the Rams defense?
Yeah, with this Rams defense, I think you can attack the deep ball. I mean, teams have been doing that all season, using your outside receivers. Unfortunately, I've only seen very few places with just a Tyreek prop up as far as outside receivers. There's no Jalen Waddle because they're still unsure whether Tyreek is going to play or not. So they don't have his lines up. But the Rams do play, I think, the second most cover 6 in the league. And every year, just Jalen Waddle just torches that coverage. So this could be a good spot for him. But we don't have any lines for him at the moment at the time of recording. So it's unfortunate.
Yep. But yeah, Jalen Waddle is definitely something to keep an eye on. Whether Tyreek Hill plays or not, if he plays, the line will be lower. You can get value. If he doesn't play, the lines will be higher. You can still probably get value if you think if the matchup is as good as we're saying it is, and data supports that, then there's probably still going to be value. So Jalen Waddle is probably who we want to target on that side of the ball. As far as the running backs, Miami's offense, their whole scheme is to run outside the tackles and run zone, which the Rams are pretty average against. They're not necessarily that good or that bad against them. They were a run defense that I targeted early in the season, but now it just feels like they've settled in and they're just average. There's nothing to target or avoid with them. So if you want to bet on usage, that's one thing. You can go and get that with A-Chain, which we'll get into. But as far as the matchup and efficient running, there's not much to share there. Let's get to the Rams side of the ball. There wasn't much to talk about on Miami outside of Tyreek, Waddle, and then the run game. The Rams side of the ball, Kupp and Puka are both healthy. Kyron Williams is going to keep doing his thing. We got Matt Stafford back there with Sean McVay calling the offense. JJ, where do you see the mismatches on that side of the ball?
I believe it's going to be in the slot, and then targeting the deep portion of the field. So that's probably going to be Cooper Kupp all the way. I mean, he's the slot guy. They kind of target him everywhere. They move him around. Probably going to be a lot of zone defense here. So he's one of the best in finding holes in zone defense. So I feel like it's got to be a Cooper Kupp kind of game here.
Yeah, and he feels due, which is weird to say because he just had 100 yards against Seattle. But over the course of the season, since he came back from injury at least, it feels like we just haven't seen the Cooper Kupp that we saw in 2021. Again, that was 2021, historic season. It's not going to happen, but we know it's in there. And I feel like people are so obsessed with Puka that they're just kind of pushing Kupp to the side. I feel like, kind of like you're saying, I think this could be a big game for him. Puka lines up, I think 73% of his snaps are out wide, and the opposite is true for Kupp. I think it's 65 or whatever in the slot. So when JJ's coming on here saying the mismatch is in the slot, that's going to be more Cooper Kupp than Puka Nacua. And one of the big things that we kind of flagged before the show was the missed tackles forced per reception out of the slot for Miami is third highest in the NFL, which is weird because their yards per reception isn't as high. But if you want to look for somebody to make a catch and make a man miss, Cooper Kupp is your guy. So if Miami's not good at defending that, Cooper Kupp is likely going to cause some problems, break off a big play or two. So Cooper Kupp, I think, is in a great spot. As far as Kyron Williams, kind of the same thing with the Miami side of the ball. There's nothing special or really bad about this matchup. It's just kind of average. Like the Miami defense itself, run defense is traditionally good. And then inside the tackles, they've been pretty average as well. So I'm not sure if you're seeing the run game any differently than that, JJ.
Yeah, I'm really not. It's just who's going to do the best on getting the most yards on first and second down, just the early downs. I think whoever wins the early down battle in this game is really going to make the biggest impact here. So if the Rams are able to win on offense on the early downs, like Kyron Williams can like get a lot of touches here in the run game. But if not, it's going to be a lot of Matthew Stafford here. And I think both teams haven't been too great on third down, especially when they're being pressured. And I think both of these defenses are top 5 or top 10 in pressure rate. So that is going to make things interesting for these offenses.
Love it. All right. Nice and efficient today. Parlay time.
Yep.
Got an interesting parlay today. So the first leg, a lot of people probably aren't going to like, mostly because we still don't know the status of Tyreek Hill. But we're going with the Miami Dolphins money line. The spread's like 3.5, and there is a really good system against the spread. Basically, when a team that made the playoffs the season before is an underdog, they've lost 3 in a row, and they're playing a team that's won 3 in a row. They're 35-10 against the spread. You're giving me a short spread. Usually when you get a short spread, you get plus money on the money line. More often than not, the money line is going to be the more profitable route. So that's what we're going with. I think there's a lot of upside if Tyreek plays, and even if he doesn't, I think having A-Chain and Most are both healthy with Tua back there. I think McDaniels can go back to scheming up the plays that made everybody think he's a good coach. Everybody seems to want to correct themselves and say, oh, he's not good anymore. He's fine. If you thought he was good before, he's still the same coach. Next leg, we're going Cooper Kupp, 80 plus receiving yards. Kind of like we talked about. The slot is what you want to target against the Dolphins, and he is good at making guys miss, which is where Miami struggles at defending the slot, is they miss a lot of tackles after the catch. So Cooper Kupp, 80 plus receiving yards, Miami Dolphins money line. We got this at plus 400 on ESPN Bet. We'll see what happens with the Tyreek Hill news. I bet if he's active, which I still think he is, we'll probably see those odds move. If he's not active, we might lose a bit of value, but I would have taken this either way. It's just about where the odds are. Other than that, JJ, appreciate you as always. Everybody that's watching, appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys on the next episode.